Hi everyone, and good morning or good afternoon wherever you are in the world today. My name is Nicholas Palmer, and thank you for joining our webinar to talk about some of the updates that we've made to our threat intelligence portal. We're just going to give everyone probably 3 more minutes to join on, and then we'll get started. So I'll just go on mute, and then we'll begin. All right, so thank you everyone for joining today's webinar again. My name is Nicholas Palmer, so I lead our international business development team and specifically with a lot of our threat intelligence customers. Today, what we'll do is cover all of the exciting new updates that we made to the threat intelligence portal and some of the different elements that you can use to take next steps in your threat intelligence program. So hopefully you can all see my screen. Today in the webinar, we're going to cover, again, the new features that we've launched. And these range from new sections that we've launched, including the advanced threat actor section. This is a pretty exciting new section that a lot of our more mature customers can utilize quite a lot, and of course the medium mature level customers as well. We've added a new section for both open source and closed source vulnerabilities, and lots of exciting new filterable details within those. We've added a section to search for code repositories as well, and that's a pretty exciting launch as well. So those are the new sections that we've added. We've also added new modules as well. One of them is our built-in sandbox. So our sandboxing technology is obviously from our TDS Polygon. This is our commercial version of our sandbox, protecting our clients' networks from APT-style attacks. And now we've added that functionality into our threat intelligence portal, and we'll show you some of the different usage scenarios, report examples that you can get, and some of the additional analytics that you might want to see when testing a suspicious file that you found in your environment. And the last section of upgrades will be in the bank card section. We've added the basically ability to see within the Group IB intelligence portal masked cards, or essentially cards that we've found without entire details of the credit card numbers. And there's a number of different reasons that we've added that. We've always had the ability and provided that off of the portal, but now we've added that ability for our customers to see that directly through the threat intelligence portal. So that's what we'll talk about today, and then we'll have a Q&A session at the end if there's any questions. So the advanced threat section. This is an exciting new section from Group IB. For those of you who know Group IB, you know that we focus on cybercrime quite a lot, and especially the advanced threat actors, especially financially motivated and nation state focused threat actors. In this advanced threat actors section, basically you'll be able to see all of the activity timelines from advanced actors like Cobalt, MoneyTaker, or other such financially motivated threat actors. You'll be able to see what countries they have targeted, what sectors they target as well. You can see a screenshot from the portal here now. Also, you'll be able to filter their attack timelines by date. If you're only interested to see recent attacks, for example, for the last 3 months, you could filter based on those. And also through feedback from our customers, we actually added this section mapped to the MITRE ATT&CK framework methodology. And this was feedback from a lot of our advanced threat intelligence customers that are starting to request more and more that we map our threat intelligence strategic reporting directly to the MITRE ATT&CK framework. We'll talk about that in the coming slides. Also, you'll see a section here for tools. So within the tools section, we'll actually be providing you with the tools and the malware that are used. So now your red teams can actually utilize those tools and malware to test the security posture of your organization from attack, from ability to prevent against attack from these cyber criminal groups. And of course, we've added the indicators of compromise and attack within this section as well. So you'll easily be able to see, for example, one attack from Cobalt, all of the different tools and malware used, the summary of that, and of course the IOCs all in one easy to see section. So what is the MITRE ATT&CK framework? For those of you who don't know, the MITRE ATT&CK framework is basically a globally accessible knowledge base of all of the adversary tactics and techniques that we've seen and others have seen advanced threat actors use to target different organizations. Not always are the tools and the malware available, but the different techniques can be categorized in each of the stages of the kill chain. This can help an organization understand, what different methodology does Cobalt use to weaponize their attacks? How do they deliver their payload and exploit? How do they access command and control server? So all of the MITRE ATT&CK framework can help better simplify how advanced actors are conducting their attacks. And we've adopted this framework into our threat intelligence reporting and also our API so that our customers can more easily understand, how is Cobalt weaponizing their attacks? How does MoneyTaker access their command and control server from an infected host within the network? So this is a pretty exciting new addition for Group IB in the way that they report advanced threat actors. So usage guidelines, obviously this section is very good for SOC analysts, incident response team, but it's also very good for the CISO as well. We found more and more that threat intelligence teams at the different banks that we work with are being responsible to write monthly or quarterly reports on the activity of advanced threat actor groups such as Cobalt or MoneyTaker in their own frameworks, in their own reporting. And before, our customers would have to go back and look at multiple different reports, multiple different campaigns, try and analyze, did they change the way that they weaponize their payloads? Did they change the way that they, call back to their command and control infrastructure? And now they can see everything in one easy window, all about one threat actor. So it's going to save a lot of time and a lot of effort from threat intelligence teams that are customers of Group IB to do this type of reporting to their C-level executives. Data sources. So in different data sources, this is an important point. So within the advanced threat actor section, of course, a lot of the data sources from Group IB's proprietary information, but we've also started to incorporate some of the public reporting into groups like Cobalt or MoneyTaker or Cylance directly within this section as well. And of course, we reference all of those such reports in the advanced threat actor section as well. So that covers the advanced threat actor section. Let's move into some of the launches that we've done in discovering vulnerabilities and different code repositories. The first section that we launched within the Group IB Intelligence portal that you can see on the left-hand side is the another section called vulnerabilities in the open source intelligence module from Group IB. Within this section, what we've done is develop the ability to identify every published or known vulnerability. We've also mapped that to the different vendor, product, version, type, and more importantly, impact score to see how serious that vulnerability is and help our clients to prioritize patch management efforts and other such efforts within their security teams. Additionally, we've also given the ability to filter, you can see the filters on the right hand side, to filter if this vulnerability has been included in any exploit kit so that the security teams can further then prioritize patch management based on the impact score of that vulnerability. Maybe they're using that specific tool or vendor that has the vulnerability attached to it. And then, of course, if it's being included in an exploit kit that, for example, is being sold on underground forums, we would map that as well. And that's a pretty cool new section that we've added. Another section that we've added is code repositories. So again, in the open source intelligence section, we've added a new section called code repositories. And oftentimes we've seen on sources like GitHub exposed information that shouldn't be there. You know, whether that be a basically programming project that internal workers might be working on and have left exposed to, you know, their public GitHub repository, or whether that be username and password combinations that are exposed or shouldn't have. We've also seen situations where credit card information or email addresses have been posted to GitHub and they shouldn't be, even so far as exposed credit card numbers being dumped there from cyber criminals, or even exposed from internal workers in some sort of situations. Cyber criminals have long since been monitoring this particular source, and now we've created that ability to parse GitHub, identify what data has been exposed based on their intelligence collection plan, and to clean that information up so that it's not utilized by cyber criminals to conduct an attack against the organization of our customers. So the usage guidelines, again, to manage and optimize patch management processes with the vulnerabilities section, identify critical vulnerabilities that are leveraged in exploit kits, detect new threats at different early stages. For example, if we identify an exploit kit that includes a certain vulnerability being sold on underground forums, and also discovering leaks of different codes or projects that might be leveraged by cyber criminals. The data sources are open source analytics and GitHub, and obviously can be used by the following, but not limited to positions. Now, an exciting new addition for the Group IB Intelligence portal is our built-in sandbox functionality. We've long since been leveraging our 7 human reverse engineers to do reverse engineering on, you know, cases where the threat intelligence team or incident response team may find a suspicious sample and want to have Group IB provide more insights into why we think it's suspicious, or what behaviors it has, or what group that it perhaps is attributed to know, you know, what they're facing and how to react to that specific situation. Now we've added a lot of that in an automated form in our built-in sandbox. So this is what the section looks like. It will be in the targeted malware section, and you can see next to the targeted malware section, we've added a new section called Sandbox, and within this section, our customers will be able to directly upload a suspicious file and get a verdict back if it's malicious or not malicious. But of course, getting a verdict back if it's malicious or not malicious, this is good, but having more context and details around that specific file is important for a lot of our threat intelligence customers. So here you can see what actually will be reported in the targeted malware section. You can see that this specific file that was tested, the verdict was that it was malicious. But why was it malicious? We show the percent of chance that we believe that this specific file is malicious. We also include the MD5 or the ability to download the original payload, the type of file, the size. We also still give the ability to request more information about this specific file and touch base with our malware team or our cyber threat intelligence team. Additionally, it incorporates all of the functionality from our commercialized sandbox. For example, it creates a video of how that file behaves in our isolated environment so that you can actually play the video back and see what does the file do once it's been launched in the isolated environment within our sandbox. Additionally, you can also see what happens in the file structure once the file is dropped. You can see that unfortunately, this is a screenshot, but you can see the process tree once that file is dropped to see what else the file does and how it behaves within that specific isolated environment. So this is a really cool new feature, obviously a way that we can, and of course you can, automate the way that you're looking at suspicious files rather than have someone go in and put their hands doing human reverse engineering. Of course, we'll still provide you with that capability as well. But if you just want, an extra look at our sandbox, we have now added that capability directly within the threat intelligence portal. And, based on the amount of files that we're searching every day, it seems like it's a very good addition for a lot of our existing customers. So the usage guidelines, obviously, looking at different behaviors of suspicious files or objects, extracting additional indicators from these malicious files, and understanding how they behave within an isolated environment. Obviously, this is, a version of our Polygon or our sandbox environment. We do have a commercial version, so either a hardware or a remote installation of our Polygon is what we call it. And so there's a few limitations, obviously, from the built-in sandbox we have in intelligence and the commercialized version. We've been getting a lot of questions, is there an API for this sandbox? We do have an API. It's available within our commercialized sandbox. So if you're interested to have more real-time of many files, real-time analysis conducted of those files, you can do so within the commercialized version. And the built-in sandbox will include deep file analysis, behavioral analysis, and of course provide a detailed report and additional IOC of that analysis. But our commercialized sandbox will of course provide the will provide the, it should say, inline analysis of these specific files, and of course provide the ability to block these files from entering the email systems, for example, so that users don't open it. And of course, within our intelligence portal, doesn't provide that capability. So the next section that we've added is additions to the compromised banking card section. So previously, we would only populate our portal with really high fidelity information about credit cards from credit card validation checking tools, from post malware, from other such sources like that, where we've identified all of the credit card number, perhaps more information, and offline. Behind the scenes, we always parsed carding forms, identified different carders, did monthly reporting for our fraud teams and threat intelligence teams that we work with about For example, card economic value reporting to see what is my card worth on a month-to-month basis on underground forums. Who were the top carders posting cards of mine on a month-to-month basis, and starting to get more proactive into looking at those that are affecting them on underground forums, and also looking at what cards are posted to underground forums and how valuable they are from different carders. They would use this as a trigger to try and understand, are my transactional fraud systems perhaps not working enough? Is that why the value of our credit cards have spiked up 10 times in the last month? Or has there been a breach that has made the cards less valuable because there's a influx of these cards being posted to underground forums, for example? Now we've added the ability to look at that all directly within the portal. Here you can see how some of the masked cards would work. On the right-hand side, like always, a threat intelligence analyst could start to filter based on carding form, based on the carder that posted that information to the card, based on if that card has access to a dump or not, if the card number is masked or not, if we provide expiration date or not. All the types of information that you'd want to filter on to try and get a better understanding of what you're looking for in terms of credit card underground forums. Also, obviously, sometimes when these cards are posted to underground forums, even if some of the numbers are masked, it still provides the ability to the fraud teams to understand who is the owner of that particular card and deactivate it before it's used for malicious purposes, or put that information within their transactional fraud system to better detect suspicious transactions. So that's a pretty cool addition that we added as well to the Group IB Intelligence portal. Obviously, the usage guidelines, so identifying compromised cards which are masked, detecting different anomalies associated with a large number of cards that end up for sale on underground forums. For example, if the typical average is 1,000 cards being posted to underground forums, and then all of a sudden, there's 10,000 cards of yours being posted to underground forums, you can start to use this as a metric to perhaps understand if one of your small business customers has a JavaScript uploaded to their portal and cards are being sent to a control panel of Matchcart and then being sold on an underground forum, for example. Using this information as an indicator for further analysis can help to uncover additional incidents that might be taking place. Identifying common points of purchase analysis, identifying different indicators of anti-fraud systems not working well enough, for example, and obviously the anti-fraud teams, security operations center or threat intelligence teams, and the CISOs might use this type of information. So those are the additions that we've made to the Group IB Intelligence portal. We've already been seeing a lot of positive feedback in regards to the additions that we've made. We of course would love to hear what you think about these additions. If you're a current customer, and if you're not a current customer, you can certainly contact us for a trial of Group IB Intelligence. So let's stop here for today's additions. We can, of course, provide the slides if you'd like to receive them. Just send either myself or the marketing team an email, and we'll share those with you. And so let's stop here, and I'll be happy to answer any questions and stick on the line for an additional 5 minutes. All right, so there's a few questions on the line. So one of the questions is, how is the sandbox in threat intelligence different than that from TDS? So for those of you who don't know, TDS stands for Threat Detection System. This is our network security appliance that is used to protect our clients' networks. And of course, this is our IDS and sandbox solution that can help to protect against APT style attack. So there's a few differences between the sandbox within intelligence and the sandbox within our TDS system. I had a slide for that earlier on where it shows the differences at a high level. So here you can see some of the main differences. Obviously, both of the solutions would analyze the file, provide the behavioral analysis and additional IOCs, but obviously the sandbox within intelligence wouldn't provide inline analysis, so it wouldn't be able to obviously block the files once it understands that it's malicious, and it wouldn't integrate with your SMTP traffic, for example, to block emails that are malicious and trying to enter the mail system. In the commercial version of intelligence, we would be able to do that if you're interested in it. Additionally, there's no API to continuously upload suspicious files to our intelligence system. You'd have to essentially drag and drop it. So that's some of the main differences between our built-in sandbox in the threat intelligence portal and then the TDS that would be installed either virtually, a cloud version, for example, or installed directly into hardware within your network, depending on how you'd like to see that happen. All right, thank you everyone for joining today's webinar. Again, if you have some additional questions that you'd like to ask, or you'd like to experience some of these updates and the portal itself if you haven't already, please feel free to reach out to me directly on my email that's shown on the screen here. That's not shown on the screen here, but it's shown on the screen now. And we'd be happy to share that with you. So have a great day, and we'll speak with you soon. Thank you.